Earlier, Javier Garcia told us briefly about this meeting's theme, Illuminating Students Brilliance. Now, Latrenda Knighten, incoming president at NCTM, is in the studio to explore what this theme really means. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
So let's talk about why this time is so perfect for this particular theme.
You know, that's a good question. And as an educator with more than 30 years experience, I would say, why not now? But honestly, we know, I guess I think about when people say, when you know better, you do better. So as educators, we know a lot more, especially than maybe we knew 30 years ago. We have a lot of research that shows how vital it is that students truly play an active role in their learning and making sure that we actually provide them with those opportunities to play the active role. So why wouldn't we make sure that everything that we do in all content areas really illuminates the brilliance of children? And I think about my experience. I started my teaching career in early childhood. So that is an advantage because I learned the importance of valuing the gifts that children bring to the classroom experience before they even formally start school. So students are born brilliant. They have a lot of inquisitiveness. They question things, they tinker, they learn about the world. So we need to honor that. And so when you honor the brilliance, you honor what they bring to the classroom experience, then you build agency. So students see themselves as learners and doers of mathematics. And so you really illuminate what's inside and you build on that. And you have a greater chance of students actually making connections, learning what we're teaching in school, and seeing the relevance to the real world.
And they feel a greater confidence, certainly. It sounds like a lot of that really focuses on individual excellence, even in a larger classroom setting.
Exactly. You know, I like to say I went to school in the dark ages where teachers had one way that they taught everything, and if you were lucky and that way worked for you, you excelled. But sometimes there were some students who probably fell through the cracks a little bit. And it really wasn't, I learned as a teacher that it wasn't because they didn't know, it was because someone hadn't figured out the way that they learn best. So when we think about these may be goals or standards that your state or your district has for each child to achieve, but everyone has a different way that they get there. So we have to have multiple strategies, multiple ideas, and that's when we think about, let me focus in on, I have goals, but I'm going to think about what's best for Latrenda. What is her learning style? How can I make this interesting for her? How can I help her use her lived experiences to make sense of this and to make connections?
So how do you help attendees carry that passion, the torch of the brilliance you're talking about here, back to their day-to-day lives and their interactions with students?
One of the great things about today, I think about when I started teaching, of course, we didn't have all of these technological advances. So really, when you went to a conference such as this, you probably maybe exchanged a phone number or maybe a mailing address, to be completely honest, and you maybe mail things back and forth to each other. You know, lo and behold, now we have email, we have all types of video conferencing, and so one of the things that we do is we make sure that we help to build communities while we're here at the conference, but we also help people think about how do you build that community and keep it going once you leave this physical environment. So how do you use my NCTM, for example, that community, to keep up those conversations that you started with others, because that's an online platform where you can communicate with people you've met here as well as other people all around the world. And one of the new things that we're uplifting this year are affinity groups. And so our members actually identified which groups they wanted us to identify spaces for them to talk to other people who had the same interests or the same needs or were similar to maybe their teaching environment. So some of them have affinity groups based on their grade levels. So within those groups, they're going to meet today actually, and they'll talk, they'll get something started, and then they're going to build a platform platform so they can communicate with each other beyond the physical conference experience.
And this is something that's great for educators and students alike. Thank you so much.
Thank you.